Okay, laying out the first set of tails is the hardest. So I just showed you how you find the half pins on those sides. And then with your second set of dividers or compass or whatever you want to call it, so you got to decide how many dovetails you would like to have on here. Kind of a general rule that I've heard is like 7. If you have if you're doing a foot wide board, to do about 7. So I just figured this is a 6-foot board, or sorry, a 6-inch board. Figured I'd do them a little bit smaller than a big box, so I decided on 4. So what I decided to do is, in that little divot that you had created for your half pins, you set that there, and you'll go through and walk this down until. And what you want to do is you want it to take exactly 4 steps to get to your other line or your other little hole you had created. Now it's going to take some little adjusting, and just do a little micro adjusting on here. Otherwise, because the error, will expand as you go down. So what I had done is I finally got it to where I got 4 steps in it, exactly 4 steps to get there. And once I figured that out, I went through and I kind of went back over it and pushed down a little bit harder so that I could save that spot. Went to the next one and I pushed that one down a little bit harder so I could save that one, and so on and so forth. You don't need to push down here on the end at all. But then what you do is you decide how narrow you would like the little tops of these pins to be. And I wanted them to be pretty narrow. As you can see, I scribed it here so you can see it with pencil. So what I did is you look at this line and you move your dividers back however much you want to. Let me zoom in here. However big you want that to be. So I chose, I don't know what that is, 1/8 of an inch or something. So I moved it there, and keep in mind now I've got the exact size of the dovetails on here. So then what you're going to do is you're going to walk back, and you're going to push a little bit to mark that, push a little bit to mark that, and push a little bit to mark that, and you don't need to push over here. So then that gives you all your little reference points. And so again, you can lay your square against the reference face always, and go down and put the pencil in those little divots, a sharp pencil, and scribe, 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 scribe all the way down. So actually down at this end you would turn it this way because you don't want to be referencing your square. You don't want it to be hanging off the edge there. So here I would have gone here, but you always do that. And then when you flip it over, make sure you keep your reference face forward. Okay, and you can do. And now with this side, now you don't have to worry about how you're going to lay it out, or you don't have to figure out the size of the dovetail or of the tails. So you can just go 1 and push, 2 and push, 3 and push, 4 and push. And that's perfect size. But what we need to do is now that we've gotten a perfect, now that we've already used these little dividers to measure out the half pins, on this other side we can, let me make sure this is in focus. So now we can take one of these measurements so that our little pins, the tops of the pins will be consistent on both sides. Okay, that's good. So we can flip it over. And now you want to keep. Now don't change this now, because you're going to put it on the other board too. So you're going to use that to mark there. Let's make sure we got that right. So now you've got a reference point there, right? So now you can go through and mark there, and mark there, and mark there. And then go ahead and mark them with the pencil just like you did the other side. And one thing you want to keep in mind is that you always mark where your waste cuts are going to be. So there, 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 and there. And this actually is going to come in like this, so you don't need to really mark how I marked there. But now what we'll do is, once we get all of the front and back of the box, all the tails marked, we will go ahead and I'll show you how to create an appropriate size here for the pins, and we'll do that in a second.